What is going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Matt of the Misfit. This is your Smackdown review for July the 14th, 2023. I apologize for not getting up the Dynamite review on Wednesday night. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't feeling up to doing the review. I don't know what it was. But so episode 100 will be on on Sunday rather. But I will be doing something special for Sunday night or for Saturday night to celebrate 100 episodes of the podcast. I will let you guys know what that is at the end of the show. But before we do that, let's do some plugs here. Twitter, Misfit Podcast TV, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram and on Threads, the audio outlets, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Audible, and Pandora. YouTube.com/@Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below on what you thought about, I almost said Money in the Bank. That's not what the show this is. Smackdown. Monday Night Raw reviews up on the channel and on the other areas of the podcast. Listen to that, my thoughts on the whole thing and the whole thing with Judgment Day and all that stuff. I do have some thoughts. I will talk about what I thought was my whole thoughts on Kota Ibushi and Pac coming back, and Kota Ibushi coming into AEW on Sunday show. Plus, I'll also be going through Rampage, which was tonight, and news on Eric Young, which he may or may not be going back to Impact. We'll find out tomorrow. But I will talk about that on Sunday's podcast, also with Utami Hayashida and all that stuff. But that's going to be saved for Sunday's show. This is SmackDown. Let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown was an alright show. Some notable things happened on the show. Looks like they're setting up a fatal four-way for SummerSlam for the Women's Championship. I know it was heavily rumored to be a triple threat match, but after tonight and after a few weeks, I've kind of come around to the idea of them doing a four-way. Just because, I don't know, just thought and I'll give to my reasons as to why in just a little bit. But SmackDown opened because it has to start. We had Bianca Belair come out. She started the show saying things are good. She said good things come to those who wait, which is the line Triple H said about LA Knight. We'll get to LA Knight in a little bit. But she found it hard to follow that advice. She says tonight is the night that she'll finally get her Women's Championship rematch. That she says and says it's her night. She says patience is a virtue, but vengeance is sweet, and Asuka will get what's coming to her when she loses her title. Charlotte Flair's music hits because, of course, it does. She still has her Charlotte in the bank. Charlotte says that Bianca got her fired up, rather. Tells Bianca that she thinks Bianca's going to win. God forbid she does. She says that Bianca will become the new champion. She wants no confusion to who is next in line. Bianca says everybody knows the line starts here, where Charlotte is, and then Charlotte says she wouldn't have it any other way. And then I believe Bianca says nothing would be bigger than them two meeting at SummerSlam for the title if she wins the night. Charlotte agrees for the challenge, and Belair says that she's ready for Asuka, and the two women shake hands. Thank God this match is not going to be a one-on-one match, because no one wants to see that. The only person that wants to see that one-on-one match is that old senile fuckface who has this infatuation with Charlotte Flair in title matches and matches no one wants to see Charlotte in. I saw somebody on Twitter say, why not just give them a tag team? I'm like, if it gets them away from the fucking world title picture, I'm all for that. I'm all for anything that gets Charlotte and Bianca away from the title picture, because we've seen Bianca in the title picture for 2.5 years. You had her in the title picture for Money 2021 when she won the Royal Rumble. And then last year with Becky, and then this year with Asuka. Get her the fuck away from it. this is why Io's got the briefcase, and we'll talk about Io in a little bit. You have Io up there, you have Bayley there, you have some other people there. I mean, hell, you're probably bringing up, you got, what the hell's her name? Not Xia Li, she's on some Raw. What the hell's that person's name? Isla Dawn and Kaylee Ray up there now. So, like, you can have, there's a division. There is a division. You just gotta do stuff with it. But we'll talk about Bayley in a little bit because she has a match also. But Brawling Brutes make their way to the ring here. Well, before that, Asuka is watching backstage because she is unfortunately, the third wheel in this entire situation. She's about to be the fourth, or actually, she's about to be the sixth wheel in this entire thing. By the end of everything here, Brawling Brutes make their way down the ring for their match. With Pretty Deadly. Match was all right, nothing too special here. Pretty Deadly get the win. After Elton Prince gets bro kicked. Or unties the turnbuckle for Sheamus to get so Sheamus tries to go for a bro kick. Elton Prince unties the turnbuckle onto so basically Sheamus hits the turnbuckle. He sends Ridge Holland into the turnbuckle as well. Face first. Since the top rope, hits the leg drop for the win, and then Pretty Deadly get the win here. Nothing big here happened here. And of course, we get the 700th start of the 2,400 different recaps of the segment from last week, which done over 3 million views for SmackDown last week, and I believe broke the record for the key demo like ever on television, which is pretty cool. That's how you can tell how red hot the this storyline is. Even though I still think Roman still should have dropped the titles at WrestleMania, but I'm over complaining about that. Michael Cole then said that Jey Uso will be out for the foreseeable future until SummerSlam with a ruptured rib. Okay. Backstage, Charlotte Flair has with a suitcase in hand. She runs into Adam Pearce, explains she's leaving the arena ahead of the World Women's Championship match later tonight. She's confident that she will get her rematch against Bianca again. Asuka feels like the third wheel in this entire situation here. Bayley and Io walk in after Charlotte walks away, and Bayley says that Flair isn't the only one who's confident in tonight, as Sky brings attention to her Money in the Bank briefcase. Again, we'll talk about Bayley in just a little bit. Then Flair has a change of heart and says, I'm going to stay here. Selena Vega heads to the ring. Quick match for Bayley as Bayley wins from a rose plant to Selena Vega. After the match, Shotzi appears on the Titantron, asks Bayley if she thinks she's scared of her. She grabs a razor and starts shaving the rest of her head. Because the real reason because this happened is because Shotzi's sister is dealing with what is it? I think it's stomach cancer, I believe. And she shaved her hair because she's donating to a GoFundMe that's set up for Shotzi's sister. So thoughts and prayers go to Shotzi's sister and her family. Cancer sucks, but fuck cancer, basically. Jey Uso comes to the ring, says that he himself and Jey Uso were inseparable because of course you are, your brothers. Basically, he says he's the tribal chief now. He says he's the real tribal chief. Heyman and Solo appear. Heyman says that Solo is not here to be Heyman's enforcer, or to enforce Heyman's will or victory for the bloodline. Rather, make peace with Jey Uso. I keep calling him Jimmy for some reason. Heyman tells Jey that they'll be stepping into the ring and nothing will happen because they'll just be talking. He informs that he will be coming face to face with Roman Reigns next week to discuss the rules of engagement, whatever the fuck that means. And for now, they're just here to chat. Heyman says Jey is surrounding it's sounding more and more like a tribal chief every day, but he has no self-awareness and he doesn't have the consciousness needed to be the right hand man. Tells Jey, Heyman then tells Jey what happened to Jimmy was all his fault. He tells he was opposed. He was the one who opposed Roman. He sends a message directly to Jimmy and reiterates his point, telling him what happened to him is on his twin brother. He questions how anyone in Jey's family will ever be able to forgive him. Then passes the mic over to Solo Sikoa, because he called for the mic, and again, Solo doesn't talk very much. Solo tells Jey what happened to Jimmy was his fault. He says he will never forgive Jey. Jey has had enough. Delivers forearms to Solo Sikoa, then super kicks him out of the ring, leaving Heyman face to face with him. Jey gears up to attack Heyman rather, but Solo blinds him and fires back some stomps. Then Jey fires off right hands to Solo, then delivers a super kick to Heyman, and Tope Suicida to Solo outside the ring. He has an eye out. He grabs a chair and places it in the middle of the ring, picks it up. There was a chair in the middle of the ring. He picks it up, stares down Heyman, but looks to strike, but Solo sees him coming and hits him instead with the chair instead, forcing Solo and Heyman to retreat. This was a great segment. Obviously, this is leading up to this is leading to an eventual Solo versus Jey Uso match, but also it is further cementing the story and the match between Roman and Jey at SummerSlam, which will be the main event. Jey's not winning the title, by the way. I'm just letting you know that. Austin Theory makes his way down the ring, joins the commentary desk because he has to apparently speak. AJ Styles, Santos Escobar, Pete Dunne, and Grayson Waller have a fatal four-way match. But I thought this was a triple threat match, but I guess not. This was a great match, but Santos Escobar wins after a distraction from carrying Cross, because apparently that's still going with AJ Styles. Cross attacking Gallows and Anderson as Styles was getting ready to hit a Styles clash onto Pete Dunne, which I want to see that match 101, by the way. Dunne and Styles sounds like a lot of fun. He slides outside the ring to help. So Styles leaves. Just leaves this opportunity to get a United States Championship match down the line, and he just leaves. So basically, like what WWE's been telling us to Austin Theory is like, you suck, and your title means nothing, which is absolutely true here. Waller rolls into the ring, delivers a rolling stunner to Pete Dunne. Santos Escobar catches Waller with a splash off the top rope and then pins him for the win. Santos Escobar will be advancing to face the winner of next week's Fatal 4-Way match, which we will talk about in just a little bit. Then we go to the OC being checked on, while Styles says things aren't over between him and Cross. Before he'll get, I wish it was over. I really wish it was over. Then we go outside the ring. This is very interesting here. This piqued my interest quite a bit here. Street Profits, who are by the way, wearing black suits. I should point that out. Is different from what I've seen. Street Profits are usually wearing, very colorful suits when they're not wrestling, or their gear, or either their gear, colorful suits, or sporting their favorite football team or whatever. They're coming out here walking around with black suits on. A limo pulls up. It's Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, who has not been seen since the triple threat match to determine who was going to go to Night of Champions to face Seth Rollins to see who was going to win the world championship. So Lashley, they embrace and ask if they're ready to talk. Street Profits get into the limo, and they ride off. And I'm thinking to myself, are we getting a brand new Hurt Business? Is this going to be where we get, if this Hurt Business is going to have Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, Bianca Belair, I'm sold immediately as a heel group. By the way, this should be a heel group. I'm sold. I'm sold right there. I like this. I'm intrigued to see where this is going. If we're getting a new Hurt Business with the Street Profits, sign me up. Yeah, I'm very interested here to see where that goes here. We hear from Rey Mysterio, Cameron Grimes, and Sheamus ahead of their first round Fatal 4-Way match next week. LA Knight comes out, massive pop. LA Knight's over still, basically saying, "I'm gonna win the United States Championship," and then here's me saying, "No, you're not." They set it up last week, very plain as day. Was Pretty Deadly got involved with Sheamus' match for the United States Championship. It cost Sheamus the title. They're gonna do Sheamus and Austin Theory at. I don't think this is good. I think the United States Championship is not going to be defended on SummerSlam anyway, because if you think about like the matches that are being planned for this show, I don't think the United States Championship is needed. If I'm being 100% honest here, but that's just me. Then we find out. I think that was the only match announced for next week, I believe, and the Roman Reigns stuff with Sikoa. Main event time. Bianca Belair defeated Asuka via disqualification. Asuka retained her championship. This match was okay. It was decent. It was the best match that they've had was at WrestleMania. So while this is going on, Bayley and Io Sky make their way through the crowd with randomly a ticket in hand, even though they were there already. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. I mean, the ticket thing in it, them being at ringside, make a lot of sense because of what I think they're going to be doing here. Bell rings, match was whatever. But let's skip to the end here because this is where everything's going to happen here. The action spills to the outside. Asuka looks to do a sliding knee on the apron. Bianca catches her on her shoulders, delivered as a KO deal on top of the table, the announce table that didn't break. Bayley and Io looked to maybe cash in. They just jumped over the barricade, but Bayley tried to go after Bianca, and Charlotte booted the ever-living shit out of Bayley. Io didn't get involved. Io, taunting Bianca, and Charlotte getting ready to spear Io. Io moved out of the way, spears Bianca. Bianca sold the shit out of that, by the way. Kudos to her for that. And caused the disqualification, which allowed Asuka to lose, but she also retained the championship. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Bayley gets up, and they're about to cash in on Asuka, and Asuka gets up while Io's getting ready to hit the moonsault. Asuka gets up and sprays the blue mist into the face of Bayley. She grabs the title and escapes. And that's how SmackDown went off the air. So I know the plan of the rumored match is going to be Bianca, Asuka, and Charlotte. However, and I put this out as a let me see if I can find the tweet here. I said I would not be against the idea of Bayley being added to that match at SummerSlam, making it a 4-way, and then Io cashes in after Bayley wins. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to have Asuka, or not Asuka. I think they're going to have Bayley be added to that 3-way, and it's going to be Bayley, Asuka, Bayley, Asuka, Charlotte, and Bianca at SummerSlam. And I think Bayley's going to win the championship at SummerSlam, and it's going to allow Io to cash in and win the title from Bayley. Because I think Io is going to be the smart one here, and is going to be one step ahead of Bayley. And it's like, she knows, Io knows that Bayley's going to try every chance to stop her from cashing in the briefcase. It may look like she's going to help her now. But if Bayley's in the 4-way and then Bayley wins the championship, right? And if Io cashes in on Bayley, there's not a damn thing Bayley can do about it, and that's one thing I liked about that whole thing. But now it looks like, because now if you look at the SummerSlam card, so here's what it looks like now. You got the undisputed tag team title match, which looks to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Right now, it's a triple threat match between between Charlotte, Asuka, and Bianca, which I think they're going to add Bayley to that. Rhea, Raquel, Roman and Jey Uso, Trish, Becky, Lesnar, Cody, Rollins, Balor, Gunther, Drew, Ronda, Shayna, and Logan Paul and Ricochet. I don't know what Edge is going to do on the show. He may wrestle on the show. Who knows? But I think that's what's going to happen here. But yeah, that was SmackDown. SmackDown was around. It's like, I don't know. It's SmackDown's not a good show, if I'm being honest here. They have the Bloodline stuff, which is fine, but nothing too, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? But let me know what you guys thought about SmackDown in the comments down below of wherever this is going to have comments down I'm guarantee there will be comments down on SmackDown. Or not SmackDown, on the YouTube portion of this. You know what the hell I meant. Tomorrow, AEW Collision. There will be a review, but that's going to be a recorded review. My plan tomorrow to celebrate the 100th episode of the podcast, which is going to be on Sunday. I'm going to try to do a live watch along for Collision. We're going to have the finals of the Owen Hart Cup for the men's. I believe it is the men's and women's finals. We have Athena taking on, it's Ruby Soho taking on Willow Nightingale on the women's side, and then we have CM Punk versus Ricky Starks in there, and then we have the 2 out of 3 falls match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. FTR defending against Switchblade Jay White and Rock Hard Juice Robinson. I believe there are some other things happening on on Collision tomorrow, but I plan to do some type of watch along tomorrow for Collision, and if you guys want to join me on that, you can. I'm going to try to probably get somebody on co-host, but I'll let you guys know about that. Sunday's podcast. So here's what we're going to talk about on Sunday's podcast. A lot of stuff to talk about on there. We got Utami Hayashida. She competed in her last match tonight at GCW against Lufisto, or Lufisto, whatever you want to call it, her. She also, a lot of talking points with her. She trained with Natalia at her Heart Dungeon school that she has with Io Sky, who was there. Sumi Sakai was with Tommy. They also went to Shayna Baszler's training camp. They did some things there. Utami but she was in attendance for NXT this week. She was also invited to do a stop by at the PC by Io Sky to probably do some more training. She has all week to do that because she didn't go back to Japan until next Saturday, rather. So who knows that? So we're going to go over the recaps of Dynamite and Rampage. Like I said, Bull Nakano signs on for the American Joshi promotion starting up in September. We'll talk about that. AEW banning some stuff, which is very interesting. We'll talk about that. Eric Young possibly returning to Impact tomorrow night. We'll talk about that on Sunday's episode, whether he is there, if he does return, if it's going to be full time, if it's some type of deal that WWE struck with Impact. We'll find out tomorrow because Sean's got this story coming out tomorrow. It's going to get a lot of people talking, whatever that means. Who knows? New Japan announces a show for October the 28th in Las Vegas called Fighting Spirit Unleashed. Nick Wayne's possibly got injured in his debut. We'll talk about that. A match that was supposed to take place at Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor tomorrow. Not happening because of Mark Briscoe now has to have knee surgery. It was supposed to be Mark Briscoe challenging Claudio for the Ring of Honor Championship. That's no longer happening. Julia may be at the Fighting Spirit show. The G1 Climax kicks off tomorrow, or this morning rather. But we'll kick off tomorrow, and we'll go over the predictions, my predictions and my picks for the G1 and the 5-Star Grand Prix. All of that's going to be on the Sunday's podcast. I've been the Matt and the Misfit. This is the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I will see you guys tomorrow for a watch along for AEW Collision, the finals of the Owen Hart Cup and the AEW Tag Team Championship match. Until then, we're out.